I, 25 female, am halfway through my pregnancy with my ex-husband. You gotta love American Midwest early marriages. It's not like we hate each other, but our relationship did not end on good terms. I quite literally had to leave our home in the middle of the night because every time I tried to leave him, he would beg me to stay, and I would give in. I just knew I couldn't raise a baby with him, so I had to do a runner. We got married at 19 and 23, and we're currently 25 and 29. Anyway, my dad and I do not speak. Hence, my tradition on Father's Day was to hang out with my ex, even before we were together, as we've always known each other growing up. Even though we're splitting, he's been insistent on taking me out this Father's Day, since he'll be a father this year, and he considers it his first Father's Day. The issue here is that he still had feelings for me, and he wants me to take him back. Every time I try to see him, for doctor's appointments or lawyer meetings, he begs me to take him back, and it's just not nice. I told him a few times, like 10 plus, that I would not see him this Father's Day because my family had started a tradition of doing a big family cookout for Father's Day. I told him that I wasn't comfortable going out because being pregnant has me attached to a toilet or a trash can. I told him I didn't think it was right for us to be going out together anymore since we're exes. He has to come to the cookout, which is a no-no because my older brother is crazy. He said that he'd pop by with a gift, and I turned that down. Eventually, I got the message he wasn't taking no for an answer, no matter how many times and ways I said no. I lied and told him that the cookout was actually going to be held 3 hours away at my uncle's ranch, and he said, "Bet, I'll drive over in the evening to see you." This was the night before Father's Day, so my hands were tied. This is where I may be the idiot. I waited till morning and then said that I felt so bad the night before that my mom took me to the hospital and I was being treated for dehydration. I said it was a minor issue, but I'd be kept all day and couldn't make it. My brother was in on it and volunteered to be the person who kept him updated all day on my condition. Turns out he wasn't happy with that, so he drove down to the town where I said I was going to be. He went to the local hospital and asked to see me. Obviously, he found out I lied, and he's extremely angry with me. My ex-in-laws, whom I still get along with, are so mad at me and want me to apologize for wasting his time. I don't believe I did anything wrong because he wouldn't take no for an answer, but they've said I should have known how much he cared about me and not lied about being in the hospital, no matter how minor the fake illness was. Am I the idiot? Listen, gal, nobody has the right to refuse to take no for an answer. No is a complete sentence. It is the end of a discussion, not the beginning of a negotiation. Just tell him that he forced you to lie because he didn't accept your refusal to see him. It's entirely on him, and he should learn to take accountability for his actions. And whatever else you do not get back together with him. It'll be next to impossible to run from him a second time. You're about to be a single mom. You gotta do what you gotta do to avoid unnecessary drama. Your ex and his family need to respect your space. You are not a doormat. You are sticking up for yourself. You want to limit the interactions with this person until he gets it in his head that you do not want to be with him. So next time she can tell him she's going to a distant resort, an island in the Caribbean, and a mountain resort for peace and quiet, or Florida for beaches. Someday he might learn that she doesn't want him. Girl, I'm sorry you're having a child with this man. Yep, he would show up no matter where you went, what you did, or what you said. You're just trying to be free for the first time in your adult life. OP, a restraining order. He will never let you go, and this is just a preview of the rest of your life. He thinks he can wear you down because he always has before. My wife, 26, is pregnant with our first child. She did a test to determine the baby's gender early in her pregnancy, first trimester, and we found out we're going to be parents to a little girl. Quickly, we decided our daughter was going to be named Adora. The name holds special meaning to us. I, 27 male, thought it was a sweet name and loved that it had a deeper personal connection for us. The middle name was still not entirely set in stone, but the first name was. My wife is now 6 months pregnant, and her twin sister's expecting a baby boy 3 months after our daughter is due. 3 weeks ago, they started talking about baby names, and suddenly my wife told me that she and her sister decided the babies should have timeless names that fit with their family names: Emily and Elizabeth, James and Haley. Their parents, William, Hannah, and Grace, their siblings. So my wife and her sister chose the name Catherine for our daughter instead, and sister-in-law's son will be Alexander. I was hurt and more than a little peeved. My wife asked me why I had that expression on my face, and I told her that I was not okay with her naming our daughter with her sister instead of me. I told her that we had chosen the name Adora. She never expressed second thoughts about the name. We were working on a middle name. I told her I was supposed to be the baby's other parent, not her sister, yet she took her sister's opinion on board and decided they'd name the child we were having together. I told her I'd not expected that from her, that I thought she truly respected me and was excited to be on this journey together. She asked me if I was really that upset about it, and I said yes. I told her I wouldn't lie and say I was okay with it. I told her she basically cut me out of the process in the end if she were to go ahead with this. My wife has been quiet since then. Her sister's been furious with me for telling my wife I wasn't okay with it. She told me I should respect their twinness, and I got to make all the other decisions with my wife, so why was I being such an idiot about this? She told me to get over myself, and then she accused me of acting like a child. Am I the idiot? Edit. Catherine should be the first name to fit with the rest of their family and her cousin. The middle name was again meant to be decided. Not the idiot at all. Your wife's twin can offer an opinion, but naming your child is your responsibility. If your wife wants a strong family name, then fine. Second name. When my daughter was born, we had a handful of names picked, and we said we'd look and see what we felt when she arrived. I wanted Charlotte, and my wife was thinking of either Caitlin or Holly. So when we were looking at our new baby, my wife suggested Eleanor. It hadn't been on the list at all, but we both loved the name, and she's Eleanor Holly. But I'll tell you this, that statement, get over our twinliness, is a massive issue where you will always be secondary to her twin. It's not a healthy thing in a relationship. Two's company, three's a crowd. Why would you make a definitive change to your child's first name without consulting the other parent? OP, the name issue aside, my sister would never allow me to talk to her husband this way. Not that I would want to. Your wife is supposed to have your back and vice versa. Your wife does not respect you or your feelings. That's why she allows her sister to talk to you this way. That's why she felt comfortable making a major decision about your child without you. Please start standing up for yourself. My wife and I welcomed a son into the world a few weeks ago, and we chose a name for him early in the pregnancy. We actually had a name for a boy and a girl. Both of them are a nod to my late mom, who died when I was 7. My son's name has caused some tension with my blended family, mostly with my stepmother and my step and half siblings, who all feel like I chose the name to spite my stepmother, who married my dad when I was 11 and was the primary caregiver in the home. The fact that she offered to adopt me 6 times and I said no added to their viewing this as an insult. Her offer to adopt me came early in the marriage, and then when I turned 18, I was away for college. She told me I might like to have someone always readily available who could drop everything and come to me if I needed medical attention. She always took it hard when I said no. I also never felt close to her despite her many efforts to fill the role of a mother for me. Nobody other than my mom could ever fill that role though, and we never saw eye to eye on that. But her kids, including the ones with my dad, would see this and would grow angry that I turned her down. So now that I have a son who has a male form of my mom's name, they feel like I did this to say, I hate you, to my stepmother. They feel like any other honor would have been fine, or another variant for a daughter. But the fact that I gave it to my son bothers them so much. I was told my actions were deliberately cruel and intended to humiliate my stepmother. They said even a middle name to honor mom wouldn't be as hurtful, but the choice tells the world I don't consider her good enough to be my mom. The truth is I never saw her as my mom, and I don't consider her my parent either. I always respected her efforts to be there for me, to a point at least, and I know my dad basically dumped me on her when they got married, and she was the only parent around the house for the most part, but I still never wanted the relationship she tried to have with me. I never intended the name to be a snub either. We just wanted to honor Mom and love the name. I don't even see my stepmother or step-and-half siblings much, except for twice a year at best, and once a year more typically. This was the exception because my son was born. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot, bro. You have the best opportunity to drop the hardest Don Draper line ever. My wife and I chose this name together. It was a team decision. We didn't choose this name to spite you. We don't even think about you. Finish up with your father that if your stepmother keeps picking this fight, it will affect any future quality time he may want to spend with his grandchild, and to think hard about how long he intends to tolerate this disrespect to your mom, to you, to your wife, and to your child. Stepmom can keep playing stupid games, but let your dad know you're more than willing to hand out stupid prizes to everyone in that house. Let him handle it and go about your business. Yeah, OP, they're creating drama where there is none because your dad's wife has center of the world syndrome. But am I the only one who's triggered by this remark? She told me I might like to have someone always readily available who could drop everything and come to me if I needed medical attention. Being a true parent means unconditional love, regardless of relation and official documents. This almost sounds like, I will only be there if you let me adopt you, aka blackmailing, towards a child no less. This is a serious case of main character syndrome. You naming your kid has nothing to do with your stepmother. They should all mind their own lives and let go of this weird competition they have with your late mother. Congrats on your tiny human. I'm a 40-something single father with full custody of a teen daughter. A friend stayed with us for a few days while our house was being worked on. When I was folding laundry, this friend told me I shouldn't do my daughter's laundry. I told her that I usually just grab it if I'm already doing my own. Thinking that this was a friendly conversation, I mused that when I brought her laundry basket back to her room, she rolled her eyes and thanked me and kissed my cheek, which I think is cute. This friend went on to calmly tell me that I'm raising a spoiled brat. She gave me several examples of my daughter's spoiled behavior, which I disagreed with. She also used the anecdote I had told her about her laundry against me. Though she was acting calmly, I was still upset. I immediately asked her to leave. After a bit of back and forth, she relented. I've received messages from friends and coworkers, as this is a former coworker. The vast majority are similarly shaming me for telling this person to leave. A few messages are even insisting I let her stay because she's staying at a hotel costing her $250 a night for the next 2 nights. I told them she overstepped and I wasn't going to stand for it. My closest friends are on my side, but I've been receiving many shaming messages. I'm starting to feel almost guilty about this and feel like I'm doing something wrong. My defense is protecting my child. However, a few people have said that that's a weak defense. I want an outside perspective. My mind is reeling. I have work in a few hours and I can't sleep. I'm appalled by the amount of people shaming me for simply sticking up for my child. Not the idiot. The friend was totally out of line. Well done for defending your daughter here. Even if you are spoiling your daughter, the friend could have just said, "You're spoiling her," and you could have both laughed it off. Calling her a brat, unless you're leaving out huge chunks of information here, isn't okay. I wonder if she would have made the same comment if it had been a mother folding her daughter's laundry. Your entitled friend hasn't learned how to be a good house guest. When someone gives you a gift by opening their home so that you have a free place to stay, you don't insult the host or the host's family. If there appears to be an inappropriate comment, we all put our foot in our mouth at some point. You quickly apologize and move on to a safer subject. My guess is that this friend has worn out her welcome with everyone else, so they imposed her on you. Update. Despite my initial thought that people were contacting me because she messaged them directly, I discovered this morning that it was actually a social media post that spun the story drastically. I requested multiple times for her to drop the topic before I asked her to leave, whereas this post is claiming I flew off the handle after she expressed concern regarding my daughter's behavior. To say I'm livid is an understatement. My son and his girlfriend have been dating since college. They graduated last year and are 22 and 23. They used to have an apartment together, but soon found out she was pregnant. I was not happy when they informed me. I knew they couldn't afford it, but they wanted to keep the baby. They're also planning a shotgun wedding soon. Soon after, they asked me to move into my home. It is a large home with plenty of space. They wanted to save money for the baby. I made it clear they'll need to do chores and their own food. They agreed and are so messy. I've talked to both before and they keep telling me that they'll do better. My son has been traveling for a job, and it's become clear that she's the one being a mess. In short, she's a slob. She leaves dishes out constantly. Her stuff is all over the place, and her bathroom is so gross. I've talked to her repeatedly. I've talked to my son, and he's talked to her. She's due in a month, and her excuse is she can't clean. Well, she hasn't been cleaning since she moved in, 6 months ago. I came home with groceries and tripped over her shoes. I had enough. I told her that she wasn't giving birth to Jesus, and that if she didn't clean, then she could get out of my house. She started to cry, and my son became angry at me. I reminded him that I was doing them a huge favor and doubled down on cleaning. This is only going to get worse. Soon you'll be tripping over dirty diapers, rotting formula bottles, and trying to get rid of cockroaches and rodents. Living with your daughter-in-law will make you resentful of your grandkid. Throwing her out will make your son resent you and also interfere with you having a healthy relationship with your grandchild. She either cleans up after herself in your home, or she can hope someone will clean up after her in the nearest shelter. Best write out the eviction notice now. If your address is legally her address, it'll be hard to throw her out. I'm going to reluctantly say not the idiot, because technically you're in the right. But really, you should have dealt with this months ago. After she has this baby, she's not going to get to a full night's sleep for months. And she sounds like she's high risk for PPD, which yeah, I'm not sure what your living situation is. But if I were in your shoes, I'd divide the house up and put one of them or myself in an apartment and just start charging them rent. If they're so messy, it's damaging your property. Ignore the people that are going to tell you to kick them out. Don't do that to your grandson. Everyone's the idiot here. Some cleaning and chemicals and chores might need to be avoided while pregnant, but she can certainly do the bare minimum to avoid leaving a mess. But why are you just threatening to kick her out when your son is also part of the problem? He should be cleaning up after himself, and he should be helping out his pregnant girlfriend. Son is traveling for work. The girlfriend is a slob. It will only get worse once the baby comes. The poor children will begin life with parents not up to parenting. If she doesn't start cleaning now, then she will not start with a baby. You cannot live with that. If she doesn't shape up, she's getting out. They had 6 months to save up money. This is literally her last chance. I don't care how close she is. Your son can find an apartment for them to move into.